December 31st, 2015, 11:47 p.m. A 911 call comes in from the Ocean View Grand Hotel in Miami Beach. A young woman is missing from room 1804, last seen around 10:30 p.m. Security checks the hallways, the pool deck, the parking garage. Nothing. By 3 a.m., they find her purse in the room, phone on the nightstand, shoes by the bed. By sunrise, they find her body on the rocks below the 18th floor balcony. The fall killed her instantly. Her boyfriend, Cameron Mitchell, age 24, flies home to Chicago 3 days later. Alone. He buries the woman he planned to propose to that night. He screams at a grave that holds someone who should still be alive. He spends 8 years learning how to breathe through the kind of pain that rewrites your entire existence. And then, on a Tuesday afternoon in Austin, Texas, he sees a woman at a coffee shop who looks exactly like his dead girlfriend. She is with 2 small children, a boy holding her hand, a girl in a stroller. Before he can look away, he sees a man approach her and kiss her on the forehead. That must be her husband. But the moment Cameron gets a clear view of the man's face, his world stops turning. Welcome to True Crime Stories. Thanks for your support. Stay tuned for the full investigation. Cameron Mitchell was born in 1991 in South Chicago, a neighborhood where fathers worked factory jobs and still came home exhausted but present. His parents divorced when he was 7, but they remained civil, shared custody, put their son first. Cameron grew up understanding that love doesn't always last, but respect should. He went to community college, got his associate degree in graphic design, started freelancing. By 23, he was making decent money designing websites and logos for small businesses. He met Vanessa Cole at a friend's birthday party in February 2015. She was 22, working as a dental hygienist, saving money for nursing school. They talked all night. She laughed at his jokes. He loved how she listened, really listened, like every word mattered. They started dating a week later. By summer, they were inseparable. Vanessa moved into his apartment in October. They talked about marriage, about kids, about buying a house someday. Cameron had never been this sure about anyone. Vanessa Cole was born in 1993 in Tallahassee, Florida. Only child. Her father left when she was 5, never came back, never sent birthday cards, never called. Her mother, Patricia, raised her alone, worked as a hotel housekeeper, then later as a front desk manager. Patricia was strong, independent, taught Vanessa that men leave but you survive anyway. Vanessa was a good student, quiet, studious, got a scholarship to community college in Miami. That's where she studied dental hygiene. She graduated in 2014, got hired immediately, started working, started saving. She sent money home to her mother every month. Patricia was proud. Her daughter was going to be more than she ever was. Going to be a nurse, maybe a doctor someday. Going to have the life Patricia never could give her. Vanessa met Cameron in Chicago during a visit to her cousin. She wasn't looking for a relationship, had just gotten out of a bad one 6 months earlier. A guy who controlled her, checked her phone, didn't want her going out with friends. She'd promised herself she was done with men for a while. But Cameron was different. He was kind, supportive, never tried to control her. He encouraged her dreams, asked about her goals, celebrated her victories. For the first time, Vanessa felt like someone saw her as a partner, not a possession. By December 2015, they had been together 10 months. Cameron had bought a ring. Simple, modest, what he could afford. He planned to propose on New Year's Eve. He booked a hotel room in Miami Beach, the Ocean View Grand, 18th floor, ocean view, balcony. He told Vanessa it was just a romantic getaway to celebrate the new year. She had no idea he was going to ask her to marry him. December 30th, they flew to Miami. Vanessa was excited. She hadn't been home in months, hadn't seen her mother in person since August. The plan was to spend New Year's Eve together, then visit Patricia on January 1st. They checked into the hotel around 4 p.m. The room was perfect. King bed, balcony overlooking the ocean, champagne waiting on ice. Vanessa stood on the balcony, looked out at the water, smiled. This is perfect. Cameron stood behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist. Tomorrow night I'm going to ask her, he thought. Tomorrow night, everything changes. December 31st, 2015. They spent the day on the beach, walking, talking, planning their future without Vanessa knowing Cameron was about to make it official. Around 6:01 p.m., they went back to the room to get ready for the hotel's New Year's Eve party. Black tie event, rooftop ballroom, champagne toast at midnight. Cameron had paid extra for tickets. Vanessa wore a red dress Cameron had never seen before. She looked beautiful. Cameron wore the only suit he owned, carried the ring in his jacket pocket. Heavy, present, terrifying. Around 7:30 p.m., Vanessa's phone rang. She looked at the screen, frowned. "It's my mom," she answered. "Hey, Mom, everything okay?" Cameron couldn't hear Patricia's side of the conversation, but he could see Vanessa's face change. "Wait, what? When? Is he okay?" Vanessa's hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God." She hung up, looked at Cameron, tears forming. "What happened?" Vanessa sat on the edge of the bed. "My uncle. He had a heart attack. He's in the hospital. My mom is there now. She's alone, she's scared." Cameron sat beside her. "Do you want to go? See your mom?" Vanessa shook her head. She said not to come. Said there's nothing I can do. Said he's stable now, but I can hear it in her voice. She's terrified. They went to the party anyway. Vanessa tried to have fun, tried to drink champagne and dance and smile, but Cameron could see her mind was somewhere else. At the hospital with her mother, with her uncle who might not make it. Around 10:15 p.m., Vanessa's phone rang again. She stepped out into the hallway to take it. Cameron watched through the glass doors as she talked, as her face crumpled, as she wiped tears. She came back inside. He didn't make it. "My uncle died. My mom is devastated." Cameron pulled her close. "I'm so sorry." Vanessa pulled away. "I need to go see her. Tonight, I can't let her deal with this alone." Cameron nodded. "Of course. Let's go. We can drive down right now." But Vanessa shook her head. "No, you stay. Enjoy the party. I'll take an Uber. I'll be back in a few hours, maybe by midnight. We can still ring in the new year together." Cameron didn't like it. Didn't like the idea of her going alone. But he understood. Patricia needed her daughter. "Okay, but text me when you get there. Let me know you're safe." Vanessa kissed him. "I will. I promise." She left the ballroom at 10:30 p.m. Cameron watched her go, watched the red dress disappear into the elevator. He didn't know that would be the last time he'd see her alive. Cameron stayed at the party, drank champagne he didn't taste, checked his phone every few minutes. 11 p.m., no text. 11:15 p.m., still nothing. He called her, straight to voicemail. "Hey, just checking in, let me know you got there safe." 11:30 p.m., tried again. Voicemail. "Vanessa, I'm starting to worry. Call me." 11:45 p.m., panic setting in. He left the ballroom, went back to the room. Maybe she came back. Maybe she forgot to text. He opened the door. Empty. Her purse was on the dresser, phone on the nightstand, shoes by the bed, but no Vanessa. Cameron's heart started racing. Where is she? He called her phone again. It rang from the nightstand. She left without her phone. Why would she leave without her phone? He checked the bathroom. Empty. Checked the balcony. Empty. Checked the closet. Nothing. He called the front desk. "This is Cameron Mitchell, room 1804. My girlfriend left about an hour ago and I can't find her. Did she come back through the lobby?" The desk clerk checked. "No, sir, we haven't seen her." Cameron hung up. Called Patricia. No answer. Left a message. "Patricia, it's Cameron. Is Vanessa with you? Please call me back. It's urgent." Midnight came. The fireworks started outside. The new year began without them. Cameron stood on the balcony, looking down at the beach, at the crowds celebrating, at the ocean stretching into darkness. Where is she? 12:30 a.m. he called hotel security. "My girlfriend is missing. I need help finding her." Security arrived at 12:45 a.m. 2 officers. They took his statement. "When did you last see her? What was she wearing? Where was she going?" Cameron answered everything. Told them about Patricia, about the uncle, about Vanessa leaving without her phone. The officers exchanged glances. "Sir, did you two have a fight?" "No." "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Was she upset about anything? Other than her uncle dying?" "No." They searched the hotel. Hallways, pool deck, gym, parking garage, lobby, restaurant. Nothing. One officer checked the balcony, looked down, saw something on the rocks below. Oh God. "Cameron, stay inside." "What? Why?" "Just stay inside, sir." But Cameron didn't listen. He looked over the railing, saw what the officer saw. A red dress on the rocks, 18 floors below. Cameron's legs gave out. He collapsed on the balcony floor. Security called 911. Police arrived at 1:20 a.m. Paramedics went down to the rocks. Confirmed what everyone already knew. Vanessa Cole, age 22, dead on impact. The detective assigned to the case was Maria Santos, 15 years with Miami PD, seen dozens of balcony falls, tourists, jumpers, accidents, murders. She interviewed Cameron at 2 a.m. in the hotel room. He was in shock, couldn't process what was happening, couldn't understand how Vanessa went from the party to the rocks in 90 minutes. Detective Santos asked the hard questions. Did she seem suicidal? No. Never? Never. Was she on any medication? No. Drinking tonight? A little champagne. How much? 2 glasses, maybe. Were you fighting? No. Any financial problems? No. Relationship problems. We were happy. Detective, we were happy. Santos wrote everything down. Checked the balcony. No signs of struggle. Checked the room. No signs of forced entry. Checked Cameron's hands. No defensive wounds. She looked at the timeline. Vanessa left the party at 10:30 p.m. Body discovered at 1:15 a.m. That's 2 hours and 45 minutes unaccounted for. Santos pulled hotel security footage. Vanessa exits the ballroom at 10:31 p.m. Takes the elevator down to the lobby. Walks toward the exit. Then the footage cuts. Camera malfunction. Next camera picks her up in the stairwell. 18th floor, 11:50 p.m. She's alone. Walks to the balcony door. Opens it. Steps outside. Camera shows her standing at the railing. Just standing there. Then she climbs over. No hesitation. No looking back. Just climbs over and falls. The footage is clear, unambiguous. Vanessa Cole jumped. Detective Santos showed Cameron the footage. He watched it 3 times. That doesn't make sense. She had no reason to jump. She was going to see her mother. She was coming back. Why would she jump? Santos had seen this before. Families who refuse to believe, who invent explanations, who blame everyone except the person who made the choice. Mr. Mitchell, I know this is hard, but the evidence is clear. Your girlfriend jumped. Cameron stood up. No, she wouldn't. Something's wrong, Santos sighed. I understand you're in shock, but there's no evidence of foul play. No one else was on that balcony. The cameras show she was alone. Cameron's voice rose. Then the cameras are lying. Someone pushed her. Someone made her jump. Santos closed her notebook. We'll complete the investigation, but I need you to prepare yourself. This looks like suicide. January 1st, 2016. The medical examiner confirmed cause of death. Blunt force trauma from an 18-story fall. Toxicology pending. Cameron called Patricia, told her Vanessa was dead. Patricia screamed. Not like crying, like something essential breaking inside her. My baby girl. Cameron tried to explain, tried to tell her what the police said. Patricia didn't believe it either. Vanessa wouldn't kill herself. She was coming to see me. She was fine. But was she? Cameron started questioning everything. Had he missed something? Some sign, some signal that Vanessa was struggling? He remembered their last conversation. She was upset about her uncle. But suicidal? No, impossible. January 3rd, Patricia flew to Miami, identified the body, made arrangements. Cameron met her at the morgue. They held each other. 2 people who lost the same person in different ways. Patricia asked the question Cameron couldn't answer. Why? Why would she do this? Cameron shook his head. I don't know. I don't think she did. Patricia looked at him. You think someone killed her? I don't know what I think, but I know Vanessa. And this doesn't make sense. They buried her in Tallahassee, January 6th, 2016. Small funeral. Vanessa's friends from high school, co-workers from the dental office, Patricia's church community. Cameron stood at the grave, holding the ring he never gave her. He was supposed to propose. He was supposed to start their life together. Instead, he was burying her. The toxicology report came back January 15th. Alcohol level 0.04. Under the legal limit, no drugs, no medications, nothing that would explain why she jumped. The official ruling, suicide. Case closed. Cameron refused to accept it. Hired a private investigator in February, gave him everything. The footage, the timeline, Patricia's contact information. The investigator worked for 6 weeks, found nothing new. The footage is clear, Mr. Mitchell. She was alone. She jumped. No one pushed her. Cameron fired him. Hired another one in April. Same result. By June, Cameron had spent $8,000 trying to prove something that maybe wasn't true. Maybe Vanessa did jump. Maybe he just didn't know her as well as he thought. Maybe grief was making him see conspiracies where there was only tragedy. He stopped investigating, stopped asking questions, started trying to accept that the woman he loved had killed herself and he'd never know why. But acceptance and belief are different things. Cameron accepted the official story because he had no choice. But he never believed it. Not really. And that doubt followed him for 8 years. Until one Tuesday afternoon in Austin, Texas, when doubt became certainty and certainty became rage, Cameron Mitchell spent 8 years building a life on top of grief. That's what therapists call it, building. Like you're constructing something over a foundation that's already cracked. The first year after Vanessa died was survival mode. He moved back to Chicago, couldn't stay in the apartment they'd shared. Every corner held a memory. Her coffee mug in the sink, her toothbrush still in the bathroom, her clothes in the closet smelling like her perfume. He packed everything into boxes, put them in storage, found a studio apartment across town. Smaller, emptier, easier to breathe in. Work kept him functional. Graphic design didn't require emotional availability. Just deadlines and client revisions and invoices. He threw himself into it. 16-hour days, weekends, holidays, anything to avoid sitting still. Because sitting still meant thinking, and thinking meant remembering, and remembering meant drowning. His mother noticed, started calling more often, showing up unannounced with groceries. Inviting him to family dinners he always declined. She worried. Told him he needed to talk to someone. He went to 3 therapy sessions in 2017. Told the therapist about Vanessa, about the balcony, about the unanswered questions. The therapist said grief has no timeline, that doubt is normal, that he needed to forgive himself for not seeing the signs. But what if there were no signs to see? By 2018, Cameron had stopped talking about Vanessa, stopped mentioning her to friends, stopped visiting her grave, not because he'd moved on, because explaining required energy he didn't have. People wanted him to be okay, wanted the story to have resolution. Man loses girlfriend, man grieves, man heals, man moves forward. But Cameron was stuck in the middle, grieving a death he didn't understand, haunted by footage that showed one thing while his gut screamed another. His friends tried setting him up on dates. He went on 4 in 2 years. Each one felt like betrayal, like he was cheating on a ghost. The last woman asked him about past relationships. He said his girlfriend died. She asked how. He said she jumped off a balcony. The woman made an excuse and left before dessert arrived. He didn't try again. In 2020, during lockdown, Cameron did what millions of others did. He got a dog, a rescue mutt named Bailey. Part German Shepherd, part something else. The shelter said he was 3 years old, good with people, needed space to run. Cameron took him. Having something alive in the apartment helped. Something that needed him. Something that didn't care about his past or his pain. Just wanted food and walks and someone to sleep next to. Bailey became his reason to get up, his reason to leave the house, his reason to keep going when going felt impossible. By 2022, Cameron had what therapists call a functional life. He worked, paid bills, walked his dog, saw his mother on Sundays, existed, not happy, not healed, but surviving. And some days, surviving was enough. March 2023. Cameron got a job offer. A tech startup in Austin needed a senior designer. Better pay, better benefits, change of scenery. He took it, packed his life into a U-Haul, said goodbye to Chicago, started over in Texas. Austin was different, warmer, louder, full of young professionals and live music and energy that felt foreign after years of gray Chicago winters. Cameron rented a small house with a yard for Bailey, found a coffee shop he liked, established a routine, morning run, work, dog park, home. Repeat. It wasn't happiness, but it wasn't drowning either. He'd learned the difference. November 5th, 2023, a Tuesday. Cameron had a rare afternoon off, decided to work from the coffee shop instead of home, grabbed his laptop, ordered an Americano, sat by the window. Bailey was at doggy daycare. The place was busy. Students studying, remote workers typing. The usual Austin crowd. Cameron was reviewing a logo design when he saw her, a woman at the counter ordering, 2 small children with her, a boy holding her hand, a girl in a stroller. He glanced up, looked back down at his screen, then looked up again. Something about her, the way she stood, the way she tilted her head when she laughed, the way she pushed hair behind her ear. Familiar. Too familiar. His heart started beating faster. He stared. The woman turned slightly. Profile view now. Cameron's laptop screen went blurry. That's impossible. The woman had Vanessa's face. Older. 29 instead of 22. But unmistakable. Same nose, same jawline, same everything. A man approached. Tall. Late 30s. Put his arm around her waist, kissed her forehead. The gesture was intimate, comfortable, married. The man turned. Cameron saw his face clearly. The coffee shop tilted. Sound muted. Everything narrowed to one impossible recognition. That's Brandon Cook, Vanessa's ex-boyfriend. The one she'd left 6 months before meeting Cameron. The one who'd controlled her, checked her phone, isolated her from friends. The one she'd sworn she was done with forever. Cameron stood up so fast his chair fell backward. Loud crack against tile floor. People stared. The woman at the counter looked over. Her eyes met Cameron's. For 1 second. One impossible second. Recognition flashed across her face, then terror. Pure terror. She grabbed the man's arm, whispered something urgent. Brandon looked at Cameron, their eyes locked, and Cameron saw it. The calculation, the panic, the decision. Brandon grabbed the stroller. The woman scooped up the boy. They moved toward the exit. Fast, not running, but moving with purpose. Away from Cameron, away from the truth, into the parking lot. Cameron tried to follow. His legs wouldn't work. His voice wouldn't come. He stood there frozen, watching Vanessa walk away, alive. The barista called out, "Sir, your chair?" But Cameron couldn't hear anything except his own heartbeat. Pounding, deafening, proving he wasn't dead. Proving this was real. Proving that 8 years of grief had been built on a lie. Cameron stood in that coffee shop for 7 minutes. Just stood there. Other customers moved around him. Someone picked up his fallen chair. The barista asked twice if he was okay. He couldn't respond. Couldn't move. Couldn't process what his eyes had just shown him. Vanessa Cole. Dead for 8 years. Walking out of a coffee shop in Austin, Texas with 2 children, and the man she'd sworn she'd never see again. Finally, his legs remembered how to work. He grabbed his laptop, ran outside. The parking lot was half empty. No sign of them. He scanned the street. Nothing. They were gone. Cameron got in his car, drove home on autopilot. Didn't remember the route. Didn't remember parking. Just found himself sitting in his driveway staring at nothing. His phone rang. Work. He ignored it. It rang again. His mother. Ignored. Again. Unknown number. Ignored. Bailey would need to be picked up from daycare. Cameron couldn't move. The sun set. Darkness came. He sat in his car in his driveway for 3 hours. When he finally went inside, the first thing he did was pull up old photos on his laptop. Vanessa smiling at the beach. Vanessa laughing at dinner. Vanessa asleep on his couch. He compared them to the woman in the coffee shop. The memory was already fading. Already becoming unreliable. Had it really been her? Or had 8 years of unresolved grief finally broken something in his brain? November 6th, Wednesday morning. Cameron called in sick to work. First time in 2 years. He went back to the coffee shop, sat in the same spot, ordered the same drink, waited. Hours passed, she didn't come. He asked the barista, "Yesterday afternoon there was a woman here with 2 kids. Do you remember her?" The barista shrugged. "We get a lot of people. Can you describe her?" "Dark hair, late 20s, had a little boy and a baby girl." The barista thought, "Maybe, I don't really remember. Do they come here often?" "I don't know, man. Sorry." Dead end. Cameron stayed until closing, no sign of her. Thursday, same routine. Coffee shop, same seat, waiting, nothing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A week passed. Cameron went to that coffee shop every single day. Different times, morning, afternoon, evening. She never appeared. His coworkers started asking questions. "You feeling better? You seem distracted. Everything okay?" Cameron lied, said he was fine, but he wasn't fine. He was obsessed, convinced he'd seen Vanessa, equally convinced he was losing his mind. Because if she was alive, that meant everything was a lie. The fall, the funeral, 8 years of grief, all of it built on what? A conspiracy? A mistake? Mass delusion? He started researching. Late nights on his laptop, Bailey asleep at his feet. He pulled up the old case file he'd kept. Detective Santos's report, the security footage, the medical examiner's findings. He read everything again, looking for holes, looking for anything that didn't add up. The footage showed Vanessa jumping, alone. No one pushed her, but he froze the frame right before she went over, enhanced it as much as his software allowed. Her face, was that fear, resignation, or something else? He couldn't tell. The image was too grainy, too distant. He found Detective Santos on LinkedIn, still with Miami PD. Retired now. He drafted an email. "Detective Santos, this is Cameron Mitchell. You investigated my girlfriend Vanessa Cole's death in 2016. I need to talk to you. I think I saw her alive." He stared at the draft for an hour, then deleted it. She'd think he was crazy. November 15th, 10 days after the coffee shop. Cameron was walking Bailey at the dog park when he saw them again. The same woman, the same 2 children, the same man. They were across the park, maybe 50 yards away. The boy was running. The man was chasing him playfully. The woman was pushing the stroller, laughing. Cameron's heart stopped. He tied Bailey to a bench, walked closer, slowly, carefully. He got within 20 feet, close enough to see clearly, close enough to be certain. That was Vanessa's face, older, different hairstyle. But Vanessa. The man looked up, saw Cameron. Recognition again, immediate. Brandon grabbed the boy. Vanessa turned, saw Cameron. Her face went white. They started moving toward the parking lot. Cameron ran, not walked, ran. "Vanessa, wait, stop, please." She didn't stop, moved faster. The boy started crying, scared. Brandon put himself between Cameron and Vanessa. "Back off." Cameron stopped. "I just want to talk to her." Brandon's voice was hard. "I said back off." Vanessa was already at the car, loading the children, hands shaking. Cameron called out, "Vanessa, please, just tell me what happened. Why are you alive?" She didn't turn around. Didn't acknowledge him. Got in the car. Brandon backed away slowly, watching Cameron, making sure he didn't follow. Then got in the driver's seat. They drove away. Cameron stood there, breathing hard, shaking. This time he got the license plate, wrote it down on his phone, Texas plates. He had something, finally, evidence this was real. Cameron went straight home, searched for private investigators in Austin. Found one with good reviews. Marcus Webb, former police detective. 20 years experience. Cameron called, explained the situation. The death in 2016, the sighting, the license plate. Webb listened, asked questions. This sounds complicated, Mr. Mitchell. I need to be honest. If your girlfriend really did fake her death, we're talking about fraud, conspiracy, possibly multiple crimes. This isn't a simple case. Cameron didn't care about complications. Can you find her? Can you tell me where she lives? Webb paused. I can run the plate. Find the registered address. But then what? What are you planning to do with that information? Cameron hadn't thought that far ahead. I don't know. I just need to know the truth. I need to understand what happened. Why she did this. Webb sighed. I'll run the plate. But Mr. Mitchell, you need to prepare yourself. If she is alive, if she did fake her death, that means she chose to let you suffer. Chose to let everyone think she was dead. That's not someone who's going to welcome you back into her life. November 17th, Webb called back. I found the address. House in North Austin, registered to Brandon and Victoria Cook. Victoria, not Vanessa. Cameron wrote it down. What else did you find? Webb's voice was careful. They've been living there since 2019, moved from Florida. Before that, no record. It's like they appeared out of nowhere 4 years ago. New identities, new life. Cameron's grip tightened on the phone. So it's true. She's alive. She faked everything. Looks that way. What do I do now? Webb was quiet. That's not my call, Mr. Mitchell. But if you're asking my professional opinion, call the police, report it. Let them handle the investigation. Cameron shook his head. No, not yet. I need to talk to her first. I need to hear it from her. Why she did this. Why she let me think she was dead for 8 years. Webb sighed again. Then be careful. People who fake their deaths, who build new lives on lies, they're desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. November 18th, morning. Cameron sat in his car 2 houses down from the address Webb had given him. A modest single-story home. Beige exterior, small front yard. Toys scattered on the porch. A swing set in the backyard visible from the street. Normal, suburban. The kind of house where nothing bad ever happens. Brandon's truck was in the driveway. Cameron had been sitting there since 7 a.m., watching, waiting. Not sure what he was waiting for. Just knowing he needed to see more before he knocked on that door. 8:15. The front door opened. Brandon came out, work clothes, boots. Kissed Vanessa at the door, got in his truck, backed out. Drove past Cameron without looking. Gone. Cameron waited. 15 minutes, making sure Brandon wasn't coming back. Then he got out of his car, walked up the driveway. Each step felt heavier than the last. 8 years of questions. 8 years of grief. 8 years of rebuilding, all leading to this door. He knocked. 3 times. Firm, steady. Footsteps inside, light, quick. The door opened. Vanessa stood there, yoga pants, oversized sweater, hair in a messy bun, coffee mug in hand. Behind her, cartoons playing on the TV. The boy coloring at the coffee table. The girl in a playpen. Vanessa's face drained of all color. The mug slipped from her hand. Shattered on the tile, brown liquid spreading, ceramic everywhere. Her mouth opened, no sound, then barely a whisper. Cameron. He stared at her. The woman he buried, the woman he mourned, standing right there, alive. Don't say my name. The boy looked up from his coloring. Mommy, who's that? Vanessa couldn't speak, couldn't move, frozen. Cameron's voice cut through. We need to talk. Vanessa finally found words, shaking. You need to leave, not until you tell me what happened, why you're alive. Cameron, please. The boy stood up. Mommy, you're bleeding. She'd stepped on the broken ceramic, blood mixing with coffee on the floor. But she didn't seem to notice, just stared at Cameron, terror in her eyes, like she'd seen a ghost. Ironic, considering. Go to your room, sweetie, but Mommy, now, take your sister, go. The boy obeyed, uncertain, scared, picked up his sister from the playpen, carried her down the hallway, door closed. Now it was just them. Cameron stepped inside uninvited. Vanessa backed away, stumbled over the broken mug. "Please, I can explain." Cameron's voice was controlled. "Barely. 8 years." Vanessa started crying. "I know. 8 years I thought you were dead. I know. I buried you." Vanessa's knees buckled. She grabbed the doorframe. "I'm sorry." His voice broke. "I watched footage of you jumping off a balcony. I identified your body. I spoke at your funeral. And you're sorry?" Vanessa slid down to the floor, sitting now, back against the wall, sobbing. "I didn't know what else to do. Didn't know what else to do. Try not faking your death. Try not destroying everyone who loved you." She looked up, tears streaming. "He would have killed me." Cameron stopped. "What?" "Brandon. He said if I ever left again, he'd kill me. He meant it. I believed him." Cameron's mind raced. "You went back to Brandon? After everything he did to you? After you told me he was abusive?" Vanessa wiped her eyes. "He found me. In Chicago, 3 weeks before New Year's. He showed up at my work, said he'd changed, said he wanted to talk. I told him no. I told him I was with you, I was happy." She took a shaky breath. "He didn't accept that. Started following me, showing up places, calling from different numbers, texting me things about you, about where you lived, about your mother. He was watching us." Cameron felt sick. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was scared. Scared of what he'd do if I involved you. Scared he'd hurt you to hurt me." Cameron's voice rose. "So you faked your death instead?" Vanessa nodded. "It was his idea, said it was the only way. Said we could start over, somewhere new. No one would look for me if I was dead." Cameron stared at her. "You could have gone to the police." She laughed. Bitter. Empty. "I tried. Filed 3 restraining orders in Miami before I met you. He violated all of them. Nothing happened. Police said they couldn't do anything until he actually hurt me. By then it would be too late." Cameron sat on the couch, legs weak, processing. "So New Year's Eve, the balcony, all planned?" Vanessa nodded. "We planned it for weeks. Found a body, a Jane Doe from the morgue. No family, no one to claim her. Brandon had connections. Don't ask me how. We staged everything. The security footage, the fall, the body on the rocks. It wasn't me, it was her." Cameron felt the room spinning. "The woman I identified at the morgue, that wasn't you?" Vanessa shook her head. "I was already in Florida with Brandon. New identity. New life. Patricia identified the body. Your mother saw that corpse and thought it was you." Vanessa's face crumpled. "I know. That's the part I can't forgive myself for. My mom still thinks I'm dead." Cameron's voice was quiet now. Cold. "You let us all suffer. Let us grieve. Let us bury someone who wasn't you. All so you could play house with your abuser." Vanessa looked at him. "And for 8 years I've lived in a prison. You think this is freedom? Living under a fake name? Hiding from everyone I ever knew? Raising kids who don't even know my real identity?" Cameron stood. "You made that choice." "No, Brandon made that choice. I was just trying to survive." "Then why didn't you leave? Why didn't you come back once you were safe?" Vanessa's voice broke. "Because I was never safe. Because he watches me. Controls me. Because if I leave, he'll kill me and these kids." Outside, the sound of a truck, pulling into the driveway, engine cutting off, door slamming. Vanessa's eyes went wide. "He's back. You need to leave. Now." The front door opened. Brandon walked in, saw Cameron, saw Vanessa on the floor, saw the broken mug, the blood. His face changed. "What the hell is going on here?" Brandon stood in the doorway, 6'2", broad shoulders, eyes cold. He looked at Cameron, then at Vanessa still on the floor. Back to Cameron. "Who the hell are you?" Cameron stood slowly. "You know exactly who I am." Brandon's jaw tightened. "I told you to stay away from my family." "Your family?" Cameron's voice rose. "She's supposed to be dead. I buried her 8 years ago. Brandon stepped forward. You need to leave. Now. Or what? You'll kill me too? Make me disappear like you made her disappear? Vanessa scrambled to her feet. Please, both of you, the kids. Brandon's voice didn't change. Victoria, take the kids to the bedroom. Her name is Vanessa. Brandon turned. Cold stare. Her name is Victoria. That's who she is now. Vanessa doesn't exist anymore. Cameron moved closer. You made her fake her death. You manipulated her into abandoning everyone who loved her. Brandon smiled. No emotion behind it. I saved her. From what? From you. From that pathetic life she had. From being a dental hygienist in Miami making minimum wage. I gave her a new start. A real family. Cameron looked at Vanessa. Is that true? Did he save you? She couldn't meet his eyes. I was scared. Cameron's voice broke. Of me? Of him? Or of having to face what you did? Vanessa started crying again. You don't understand. Then help me understand. Why didn't you just leave him? Why go through all of this? Brandon answered for her. Because she loves me. Because she chose me. Cameron laughed. Bitter. You threatened her, you stalked her, you gave her no choice. Brandon shrugged. I gave her the only choice that mattered. Stay with me or everyone she loves gets hurt, including you. Cameron felt ice in his chest. You threatened to kill me? Brandon's smile widened. I told her what would happen if she didn't cooperate. Told her I knew where your mother lived, where you worked. How easy it would be to make it look like an accident. Vanessa had to choose. Her happiness or your safety. She chose your safety. That's love. Cameron looked at Vanessa. You believed him? She nodded. I couldn't risk it. Couldn't risk him hurting you. So you hurt me instead. Destroyed me. Let me think you were dead for 8 years. Vanessa's voice was barely audible. I thought it was the only way. Brandon moved between them. This conversation is over. You got your answers. Now leave. Cameron didn't move. I should go to the police. Tell them everything. Brandon laughed. Go ahead. Tell them a dead woman is alive. Tell them you found her in Austin. They'll think you're insane. And even if they believe you, what then? She gets arrested for fraud. I get arrested. The kids go into foster care. You want that? Cameron looked at the hallway, where the children were hiding, innocent, terrified. He thought about Marcus asking why Grandma killed his daddy, about Kira not understanding. These kids didn't ask for this. You're a coward. Cameron's voice was steady now. You manipulated a woman half your age, made her fake her death, isolated her from everyone, and now you're using those kids as shields. Brandon stepped closer. Call it what you want, but she's mine. She's always been mine, and you showing up here changes nothing. Cameron looked at Vanessa one more time. Do you want to be here? Do you want this life? She hesitated. Answer him, Victoria. Vanessa looked at the floor. I don't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. Brandon's voice turned dark. She made hers 8 years ago, and if you keep pushing, you'll regret it. Cameron's hand went to his pocket, pulled out his phone. I'm calling the police. Brandon moved fast, grabbed Cameron's wrist, twisted. The phone fell. They're not coming. You're not ruining what we built. Cameron tried to pull away. Brandon's grip tightened. You need to forget you ever saw her. Forget this house exists. Walk away. Cameron met his eyes. Or what? You'll kill me too? Brandon leaned in close. If I have to, Vanessa screamed. Brandon, stop. Let him go. Brandon didn't let go. He needs to understand. This is my family, my life. He doesn't get to destroy it. Cameron jerked his arm free, backed toward the door. You think I'm going to walk away? Pretend I didn't see her alive? Brandon picked up Cameron's phone. Deleted. I just erased any evidence you were here. And if you go to the police without proof, it's your word against ours. A grieving boyfriend who never moved on, who's been seeing his dead girlfriend everywhere for 8 years. That's what they'll think. Cameron looked at Vanessa. Help me. Tell them the truth. She said nothing, just stood there, trapped between the man who destroyed her and the man she destroyed. Please, Vanessa. Her voice was hollow. You should go. Cameron felt something break inside him. After everything, after 8 years, after I mourned you, you're choosing him? She looked up, tears streaming. I'm choosing my kids, choosing to keep them safe, even if it means you hate me. Brandon opened the front door. Time to leave. Cameron walked to the door, stopped, looked back. This isn't over. Brandon smiled. Yes, it is. Cameron left, got in his car, sat there shaking. He could call the police right now, tell them everything. But Brandon was right. Without proof, who would believe him? He started the engine, drove away. But he wasn't giving up. Not after 8 years. Not after finally knowing the truth. He was going to expose them. He was going to make them pay. All of them. Cameron drove straight to Marcus Webb's office, burst through the door. The investigator looked up from his desk. Mr. Mitchell, you look like hell. Cameron sat down, breathing hard. I found her. I talked to her. She's alive. She admitted everything. Webb leaned forward. Tell me everything. Cameron did. The house. The conversation. Brandon's threats. Vanessa's confession about the staged death. The fake body. Everything. Webb listened. Took notes. Then sat back. This is bigger than we thought. This is conspiracy to commit fraud. Identity theft. Possibly accomplice to covering up the death of a Jane Doe. We need to go to the police now. Cameron shook his head. He deleted my phone, any recording, any proof I was there. It's my word against theirs. Webb thought for a moment. Not necessarily. If she faked her death, there's a paper trail. Death certificate. Medical examiner's report. If we can prove the body wasn't hers, DNA evidence, dental records, something, then we have a case. How do we do that? We reopen the investigation. Contact Miami PD. Tell them we have reason to believe Vanessa Cole is alive. They'll have to investigate. And if they don't believe me, Webb met his eyes. Then we make them believe. November 20th. Cameron and Webb flew to Miami, met with Detective Santos, now retired but agreed to hear them out. Cameron explained everything. Santos listened, face unreadable. When he finished, she was quiet, long quiet. Then, Mr. Mitchell, I remember your case. I remember thinking you couldn't accept what happened, that you were looking for someone to blame. Cameron leaned forward. And if I was right? If she is alive? Santos pulled out her old case file, kept a copy when I retired. Something about your case always bothered me. The timing, the phone records, the fact that she left without her phone, small things. But they added up to noise I couldn't ignore. She opened the file. The body we recovered. Dental records matched. But here's what I didn't include in my report. The match was close, not perfect. The medical examiner noted discrepancies, minor ones, but enough that I flagged it. Cameron's heart raced, so it might not have been her. Santos nodded. I wanted to investigate further, but the case was closed fast. Pressure from above. Hotel wanted it resolved. Tourism, bad press. So we called it suicide and moved on. But I kept the file, just in case. Webb spoke up. Can you reopen it? Santos looked at both of them. If you can give me something concrete, something that proves she's alive, an address, a photo, anything, I'll take it to my old captain. We'll exhume the body, run new DNA tests. If it's not her, we reopen everything. Cameron pulled out his phone, showed the photos he'd taken at the dog park, zoomed in on Vanessa's face. Santos studied them. That could be her. Older, but it could be. She's living under the name Victoria Cook, North Austin. Here's the address. Santos wrote it down. I'll make some calls. But Mr. Mitchell, you need to prepare yourself. If this goes forward, if we prove she faked her death, she's going to prison. So is the man who helped her. And those kids lose both parents. Is that what you want? Cameron hadn't thought about that, about the children, innocent in all of this. But he thought about 8 years, about Patricia burying her daughter, about his own destroyed life. Yes, that's what I want. Justice. December 3rd. The body was exhumed. DNA tests ordered. Results took 2 weeks. December 17th. Santos called. It's not her. The body we buried wasn't Vanessa Cole. We ran DNA against Patricia's sample. No match. Different woman entirely. Medical examiner estimates she'd been dead 3 days before the fall. Cause of death was overdose, not trauma from the fall. Someone staged the scene. Cameron closed his eyes. So I was right. All along, I was right. Santos's voice was somber. You were right. And I'm sorry. Sorry we closed the case so fast. Sorry we didn't listen. An arrest warrant has been issued. Austin PD will execute it tomorrow morning, December 18th, 2023, 6 a.m. Police surrounded the house in North Austin. Brandon answered the door. Hands up. Arrested without incident. Vanessa was taken into custody. The children screaming, crying. Taken by Child Protective Services. Cameron watched from down the street. Watched Vanessa in handcuffs. Watched her look back at the house, at her children being carried away. Their eyes met. One last time. She mouthed 2 words. I'm sorry. Cameron said nothing. Just watched as they put her in the police car. Watched as the door closed. Watched as they drove away. January 2024. Vanessa and Brandon were charged. Fraud, conspiracy, desecration of human remains. Brandon faced additional charges. Coercion, threats. The Jane Doe they'd used was identified. A homeless woman who died of an overdose. Brandon had connections at the morgue, had paid someone to look the other way. All of it unraveled. Vanessa pleaded guilty. Testified against Brandon. Explained the abuse, the threats, the manipulation. Her lawyer argued coercion, that she was a victim too. The judge acknowledged it. But she'd maintained the lie for 8 years. Let her mother suffer. Let Cameron suffer. That had to count for something. Sentencing came in March. Vanessa received 6 years, eligible for parole in 3. Brandon got 15. No parole. Patricia flew to Austin when she heard. Met Cameron at the courthouse. They sat together. 2 people who'd lost the same person. Except she wasn't lost. She was alive, just hidden. Patricia didn't know how to feel. Relief her daughter was alive. Rage that she'd been lied to. Grief for the 8 years stolen. Cameron understood. He felt the same impossible mix. They visited Vanessa once in county jail before transfer. She sat across from them. Glass between, phone to her ear. Looked at her mother. Mama. Patricia's voice was ice. Don't call me that. You're not my daughter anymore. My daughter died 8 years ago. This stranger just looks like her. Vanessa cried, tried to explain. Patricia hung up the phone, walked out. Cameron stayed, looked at Vanessa, asked the question he'd needed answered for 8 years. Why? Why put us through this? Vanessa wiped her eyes. Because I was more scared of him than I was of hurting you. And now? Now I see that I should have been more scared of myself, of what I was capable of the pain I could cause. Cameron stood. I hope it was worth it. Vanessa looked down. It wasn't. Nothing was worth this. Cameron hung up the phone, walked away, didn't look back. The children went to foster care, temporarily, then to Patricia. She took custody, raised her grandchildren, told them the truth as they got older, about their mother, about their father, about the lies they were born into. Cameron moved back to Chicago, couldn't stay in Austin. Too many ghosts. Started therapy. Real therapy this time. Processed 8 years of grief that turned out to be anger. Learned the difference. Started dating again. Slowly. Carefully. Met someone in 2025. Sarah. A teacher. Kind. Patient. Didn't run when he told her his story. He never spoke to Vanessa again. Never visited, never wrote. Some wounds don't heal, they just scar over. And sometimes that's enough. 8 years of grief. 8 years of lies. All for what? Fear? Control? Love twisted into something unrecognizable? Cameron didn't have answers, just scars, and a life he was learning to rebuild again. This time on truth instead of lies, this time on solid ground. It wasn't happiness, not yet, but it was real, and real was all he had left to hold on to.